all of you. In the continuation of book list analysis, today we are understanding the requirement of human geography, paper 1, that is Geography of World. Now we have got 5 topics as mentioned in our syllabus for this particular part of our geography optional. However, the last topic entitled Models, Theories and Laws in Human Geography is to be considered as overlapping with the rest of the other topics. Whether you are preparing it, revising it, or you are eventually attempting to answer right, it's always advisable to take it in integration to the other heads. So in all, there are 4 heads that is left out for us to judge the book requirements and resources. The first topic in human geography, entitled Perspectives in Development of Human Geography, requires 2 textbooks, Evolution of Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain and Fundamentals of Geographical Thought by Sudipta Adhikari. As mentioned in front of you, chapter 1 to 5 in the Evolution of Geographical Thought by Majid Hussain gives us the idea of prehistoric contributors whom we essentially take to be the contributors to have developed what is called the foundation to the geographical study. So if I need to be comfortable with foundation work, I get excellent support from Majid Hussain text. Chapter 7, the modern contributors, where we encounter the questions that have been there in examination. We have encountered question on Ellen Churchill Simple's contribution. I get excellent coverage of such individual contributors from chapter 7, must read. Coming on to the textbook, which is Fundamentals of Geographical Thought by Sudipta Adhikari, chapter 13 to 18, because it gives us coverage of all the requirement of ideas, methods in the development of geography. Excellent coverage, excellent integration, and precisely covering complete requirement of our syllabus. And I have put on a star mark to a very important block that has to be noticed by all of us. Chapter 12, that is devoted to the Indian contributions to the geographical development, is significant because it gives me the information and Indian scholars that I can easily add in my answer writing to the questions which do not seem like geographic in nature. In all, these two can be considered as basic as well as standard books. However, as written here, complement it with Unit 1 of NCERT because that gives you a general. I start with Unit 1 of NCERT and then I read chapter 1 to 5 of Majid Hussain, chapter 7 of Majid Hussain, and I readily make sense with chapter 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 to cover up the defined parts that is mentioned in the syllabus. In addition to that, the Economic and Social Geography authored by Knowles and Waring. It is Rupa Made Simple Part 2. Will always be your complementing text without any doubt. So when you are preparing for Perspectives in Development of Human Geography, don't miss to integrate chapter 1 to 4 of Rupa Made Simple, Economic and Social Geography. It will excellently make you prepare the perspectives or geographical thought as your topic of optional geography. The second block of our syllabus is Population and Settlement Geography. Population geography essentially incorporates certain important concepts, and those concepts are to be taken. I'm talking about laws, models, and theories like demographic transition, like Marxian and Malthusian concept, static part of the syllabus. Similarly, in settlement geography, you have Walter Christaller's central place theory, primacy of Mark Jefferson, static theory. Otherwise, population and settlement is more about dynamic concept. Human Geography by Majid Hussain, its 5th edition that is there in the market, is the standard book for you to refer. And as I insisted yesterday also, be very clearly informed that these topics are required to be prepared from Majid Hussain Human Geography if you are not taking support of any study material or classes. Chapter 3 Population, Chapter 4 Migration, and Chapter 9, 10 for settlements is what you have to refer from Majid Hussain. Complement it with chapter 2 to 4 of NCERT and chapter 10 of NCERT, that is by default required for us to study. Population and settlement geography, largely considered to be the static part of our syllabus, do not create much trouble in preparation, and it must be integrated with chapters 5 and 8 of population and chapters 17 to 21 of settlements from Rupa Made Simple part 2. And mind it, what is the additional benefit that I get from it? I get the coverage of models and theories of population and settlement that are the static part. But mind it, the static part can be prepared only when you integrate it with the dynamic part. I now get the question which is not asking me to write about what is Walter Kristall's central place theory. It asked me to write what is the validity of the concept in present. Next topic, economic geography. Economic geography is nowhere wrong for us to say dynamic most concept, the dynamic most topic of our syllabus. It covers up all the aspects of agricultural geography, industries, trade, transport in the global perspective. And it is human geography by Majid Hussain that continues to be the most prominent source material for it. And I have highlighted chapters 6, 8, and 11 are the excellent sources for it. Chapter 5 to 9 of NCERT is the base read from where you should start. So we maintain it always. I begin my reading from NCERT, then I add on the topics and content from the other sources. The standard book for economic geography is Human Geography by Majid Hussain, and do always take it in reference to Rupa Made Simple Part 2, Chapter 9 to 16. But always remember, being dynamic in nature, you have to always take complementing newspapers. Any trade relation change, any reference of changeover that goes up with the navigation enhancement of existing oceanic route, proposal of, like we are aware of the fact that apart from Suez Canal and Panama Canal, there are 3 navigable canals that are in making: Nicaragua Canal, Iranian or Caspian Canal, and Isthmus of Kra Canal. If I don't add them into my list, I somewhere remain outdated with my approach of study. So that is very important. However, static part, I can simply take it up from Human Geography, Majid Hussain, and I also pick it up from NCERT chapter 5 to 9 as my basic read for this topic. And finally, in regional geography, the regional geography is very important for us to apply, as concept of region has to be derived from regional synthesis that is coming from geographical thought. However, nature of this topic is overlapping with the entire syllabus of human and physical geography, in sense that the topics of this syllabus, if you try to read, concept of region, causes of regional inequality, so I actually need to have that overlap. That is where we say geography is a discipline of synthesis. If I say concept of region, I essentially take it up from concept of chorology from thought. But am I done with that? Certainly not. I don't get much support from NCERT for the chapter 22 to 25 from Rupa Made Simple Part 2 is very important support that you take into. The only important aspect that I'll add is of the political geography, because we do have got the content in our syllabus that talks about heartland, rimland concept and laws of international boundaries and frontiers. Political geography by R.D. Dixit can be taken up for the reference because this is a static topic. However, if you try to see the nature of the questions that we have encountered in examination, heartland is reviving of its significance. I examine the types of boundaries, the boundaries that are being classified by Hartshorne. Such type of questions do not incorporate the support from this textbook. However, yes, what is heartland and what is rimland, you can certainly learn from this text. I want to conclude this class by referring that in the perspectives and development of human geography, topics like geography of language and religion, human development, and in the topic of population and settlement, topic like population as social capital, are not the static nature of the syllabus, Do not come up from the textbook will be wrong, because we do have got a dedicated chapter on geography of language and geography of religion from the standard book that we have selected as our choice. I'm talking about Human Geography by Majid Hussain. Chapter number 5 is devoted towards the mosaic of culture, language, religion, and custom. So you can certainly take that into reference. But these topics are to be taken up from the other sources as magazines or newspapers, because it is more about case studies, updation of the data, human development tables you have to take into reference, and thereby judge the scales that are there. Population as social capital with all its pros and cons is not fulfilled from any of the standard textbooks of geography.